All right, excellent. So thank you for coming. Thank you for taking time and joining us this morning. I'm Jennifer Dickey. I'm the study abroad coordinator at Webster University, and I work with our WINS students and visiting student populations. So Isabel, I think you're from Chatham University, which is exciting. So welcome this morning. And I have two colleagues here, Kim and Con, if you all would like to introduce yourself.
Sure. So I'm Kim McGrath. I also work here in St. Louis at our home campus in the same office suite with Jennifer, and I'm the director of our WINS program. So I work with other schools like Chatham that send students to study abroad through Webster. So real excited for the session today.
Hi, Isabel. I'm Con Christeson. I teach on the campus here in St. Louis. Primarily am part of the communications faculty, but I'm teaching this semester the Keys class that I'm going to be teaching in Leiden in the summer. So, yeah.
Excellent. Okay, so we'll do just a brief overview of the city and Webster Leiden campus. And if you have any questions as we're going through, feel free to, unmute yourself and jump in, or you can put them in the chat. We'll be keeping an eye there as well too. So this first slide shows you a little bit about Leiden. It's the oldest university town in the Netherlands, and it's really one of the best kept secrets of Leiden, I think. It is as mentioned, oldest university town, and it's really known for its welcoming, student-centered atmosphere, and it's also the intellectual epicenter of the region. It's heavily populated with students, but it's also it has a small town feel, I think. I know, Kim, you guys have both been there as well. And so I think you could, feel free to interrupt me if I misspeak. But when I was there, I really got a quaint village feeling, but it was very vibrant. There were people out along the canals, at restaurants, and in the evening, just lots to do. The city center contains all sorts of different shops and restaurants and cafes in between, cobblestone streets and the canals that run right through it. So it feels much like very similar to Amsterdam, but on a smaller scale in Leiden. So it's very manageable. And it is located right in between Amsterdam and The Hague. So students do have that opportunity not only to enjoy the small town charm, but also big city life is, just 20-25 minute train ride away. So there's lots of opportunity there. You can also, this summer, it's going to be amazing to be in Leiden in the summer for the daylight hours alone. So you have class and you could bike to, the beach isn't too terribly far away, and there's all sorts of things to do in the summer in Leiden. So it's just, I think, a perfect time for this sort of program. So you see Webster Leiden in the photo there, in the largest photo. It sits right on a canal, right in the city center. That's our campus, one building there. We do have on the back side of that building is a small library and media center that students have access to. And then right across the street from that location is our housing facility, which is in that other photo. You see the entrance of it there. So literally you can walk to campus from the dorms in, 3 minutes flat, probably, depending on how many bikers are on the street at the moment, cyclists at the moment that you need to cross the one main thoroughfare there. But it is a very intimate campus setting. We have small classes in Leiden. They'll be a little bit smaller in the summer as well. But that personal environment really means that you're able to get to know your instructors and the staff at Webster Leiden. So it's a really a great place to really focus and get more personalized attention in the classroom and outside of the classroom, which is really going to be a large part of this program in the summer. So we are offering a sort of a package high impact co-curricular program in the summer. So these two classes in particular, the Understanding the Dutch class, which is International Cultures course, and then the Keys Arts and Social Engagement course, which Con will talk a little bit about. But if there are other courses offered, I'll show you those in a few more slides. But if you take at least one of these classes, then you will have access to what is basically called the Leiden experience. And we'll jump to that in just a second. But Con, I didn't know, did you want to speak about your class at this point, or?
Sure, I can do that. Yeah. So Isabel, I actually taught in Leiden about 4 years ago, and I taught an independent study course. And so I got to know Leiden and in general and the arts community in particular in a meaningful way. And so this course is going to build on my experience with engaging the local, and also having students who are from all over the world who share with each other and then engage what they find there in Leiden and in Amsterdam. And the experiential component of what I do and what the professor who teaches the Understanding the Dutch course do really involves getting on a bicycle, onto the street, into the train, and seeing things that tourists probably won't see because they won't have the opportunity to take the time that students have to understand what's happening and why, and to meet locals, and to approach the culture creatively, and to think about how the arts and social engagement, as the description says, can really impact at a micro level in terms of the community, but also it impacts students, how they see the world, how they see themselves, how they see themselves as citizens of the world. So Leiden's a really great place for feeling comfortable with exploring things, not being overwhelmed with traffic or tourists or whatever. And at the same time, like Jennifer said, there's a lot going on in the summer. There's just 6 blocks from the campus, there's a local market on Wednesdays and Fridays every week. There are festivals on the canals. There's a boating culture. There's a walking culture. There's a shopping culture. It's just a really wonderful place to have an international experience.
Yep, certainly.
So, yeah.
So this is a little bit more about the Leiden experience that we mentioned and Con talked about as well. So in addition to guest speakers and artist visits within the classrooms, these 2 field trips are built in. So it's a bicycle tour of Amsterdam that really gets you into the historic side of the city and a little bit deeper than just the general, tourist tours. And similar with the Canal House Gardens. So these are private gardens of families that live in Leiden, and it's sort of a backstage tour of what that looks like. So both of those are included in the programming. You'll also included in that is a train ticket for I think for the 6 weeks is how I understand it. Museum tickets, theater tickets, and other discounts to entrances, places around the city. So that will be included in the Leiden experience if you take both or one of the high impact courses. And then you'll also see here a couple of different courses that you would have the option of taking. We have the innovation and creativity in the entrepreneur course, which really ties, I think, in well with either of the high impact courses. And then you also have a comparative politics course and crisis counseling, depending on which major students may be. The cost for 6 credit hour tuition in the summer comes to $2,700, and then housing is most likely will be a double room in the summer. So that again is right across the street from the main campus building, furnished rooms. There's a nice courtyard out back. There's a student lounge, laundry, everything's there on site. So that's really a nice thing. Really, the only thing that only things that you would need to pay additional fees are meals, personal expenses, which would include, any travel that you may want to do, or gifts that you want to bring back, that sort of thing. We do have on our website, and I can pull the link in a moment for that and put it in the chat, but that will let you plug in any costs that you may have additionally. So if you haven't gotten a passport and you still need to do that, that's another $145 that you would want to factor in. There's also a spot to plug in any scholarships or financial aid that you may be receiving. This program the WINS Travel Award does count towards this program, which is $1,000 towards your round trip airfare. So depending on which area of the country you're flying out of, that will cover, quite a big chunk for a flight to Amsterdam. So that's something you can also use that formula to plug in. And then our application deadline is February 28th. So still plenty of time to think this through. And, if you have any questions, you're certainly welcome to reach out to myself or really anyone on the program. Happy to continue the conversation going forward. Yeah. Do we have any questions, or Kim or Con, anything you would like to add maybe?
Yeah, I mean, I would just say that, Leiden itself, I know Asia just jumped on the call again. So it was sending her a little, information in the chat. Just that Leiden really is, to me, a great study abroad city, because it's a really fascinating country with a really rich history and thriving art scene. But it's kind of a little off the beaten track city that a lot of people don't know about or get to. So it's a neat opportunity to explore a city you might not visit later on in life. You can easily go to Paris for the weekend, or, hit some of the bigger spots while you're there. But the city of Leiden itself is, Jennifer, like you were saying, a big university town. And so it's kind of cool because you get the sense of what it's like to be a Dutch student. You get a sense of what it is, you're in the city with other, kids from all across the country that come to Leiden to do their full degree. So, by day, the cafes are full of people studying and, taking notes or reading. And then by night, there's all kinds of fun activities that you can do, whether it's along the canal or it's in other parts of the city. So I just think this is a really great program for a summer experience. A lot of study abroad programs during the summer are a little bit shorter, but our program does take place over the course of, a couple of months. So your students are really able to be there for a time that's long enough to soak it up and get a lot out of it, but also have enough time to still do things back home before getting started for the fall semester. So I just think this is a really unique opportunity. And it's
one thing that people might not know about the Netherlands, Holland, the Dutch, however you want to refer to them. Most everybody speaks English.
Yes.
And it's very nice that you can get familiar with the Dutch culture and some of the language, but at the same time, everyone very cheerfully switches to English when they realize that's what you need to do. And I find that very, very a welcoming and comforting aspect of Dutch culture. Yeah.
Yeah, very true. So just to have a couple of email addresses up here if you guys need anything that's from us. And yeah, any questions or any thoughts?
Asia, are you from St. Louis or are you from another city?
Hi, yeah, I go to Fontbonne. Hello.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool. Yeah.
Awesome. Great.
Yeah, and our summer program this year is also, it's great timing to study abroad, because we do have a special per credit hour rate that's lower than we typically have. So it's a good chance to take a couple of classes, get credit that comes back towards your home institution, and then take advantage of at least with this program doing one of the two experiential courses and having that wraparound. And then also Webster would cover, up to $1,000 towards your airfare, which helps offset that big out-of-pocket cost. So it's a really unique opportunity.
Yeah. And we had a really great question in the session yesterday about how to, if you're not a Webster student, how do you enroll in these classes and how do they, get back to your home institution? And so that is something that we work really closely with your study abroad contact with, and or academic advisors at your home institution. So you'll know the classes that you'll be taking at Webster, you'll know how they're going to plug back into your academic plan before you even get on the plane for your program. So I think that's really beneficial because it gives students peace of mind, whether it's making progress toward a major or minor, if it's an elective that you'll be receiving. And then once you're admitted to our study abroad program, we'll have colleagues at our international campus. So in this case, Leiden, she would be the one to enroll you in those courses. And then after the classes are complete and your grades have been assigned, we then send an official transcript to your home institution. So we really take care of a lot of that on the back end for you. So it's less that once you get the classes approved by an advisor at your home campus, you really don't have to worry too much about the logistics of how it's going to work behind the scenes. So that was a really great question. So I wanted to make sure to share that today as well.
I want to know how they got this picture without any bicycles in it.
Right.
Bicycle culture is really very interesting there. And I know exactly where this little tunnel bridge is. And if you go to the right, just before you go through the building, there's two really great restaurants right on the canal, just so you know.
Awesome.
How do students usually get around the city? Is it biking? I can't ride a bike.
You don't have to be able to ride a bike. You can walk just about everywhere. I've been there several times and I have not had the courage to actually ride a bike yet, but I think maybe this time I'm going to try it. So we'll do it together, Asia.
Okay, lovely. I'll try and get some practice in over spring break.
Yeah, but you can walk just about everywhere. There are there are buses in the city, and there's taxis and Ubers, and getting from Leiden to Amsterdam or Leiden to The Hague, or Leiden anywhere in Holland, but also across Europe, the trains are just amazing, really amazing, and not very expensive and easy to access.
Yeah, you see people doing all kinds, I guess carrying all kinds of things on their bikes in Leiden. I've seen people with
oh my gosh, I saw somebody with a lamp on her bike one day, like a floor lamp. I'm like, how does she do that?
Yeah,
and people with big baskets with kids in them, yeah. Oh yeah.
I know it was kind of on the slide earlier. What kind of courses are offered for this one?
Yeah, here we'll go backwards just a little bit. So the two high impact courses that we really have been building this summer program around are an international language and cultures course, Understanding the Dutch, and then a Keystone course, which for a lot of our WINS and visiting students counts as elective. A lot of times in social science areas, but it varies from school to school. On the arts and social engagement, then that's actually the course that Con's teaching as for us. And then there are three others that are offered for the Leiden experience, the field trips and other things part of the program. You would need to take at least one of these courses, and then you'd have the option of these other three that are offered in the summer as well. So the management course, there's a comparative politics course, and then a crisis counseling option.
And they usually just take 6 credit hours during the summer.
Exactly.
And while we're there, are there the students who are all together, do we go on field trips, or are we more just exploring the city by ourselves when we're not in class?
Are you asking me, Asia?
Anybody,
Oh,
I'm not,
okay.
I'm
Oh,
not
I thought
really
I
sure
heard you say my name.
how.
In my experience, you can do both. But Bob, who teaches the Dutch language and culture class, and I have talked several times over the last year about how we would do group activities. I think you came in after I said I've been there once and taught a class where I help students connect to the local economy and the local arts community, and hear the stories of what it's like to be in that place at this time, and how the arts specifically can work across sectors to make a difference in civic engagement and civic engagement and community engagement. So yeah, so I think both are possible. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, especially if you do one of the co-curricular courses or both. These are the two field trips that would be like that are built in already for those programs. But yeah, and then individual classes, certainly there will be other opportunities.
In Asia, I have a friend in Amsterdam who teaches people to ride bicycles. So
That would be actually really a great, like I would need that as well. So
yeah.
like
Awesome. Yeah, if I
an
end up there,
orientation.
I'll definitely. For sure.
That's
Yeah.
fantastic. All right.
Cool.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much.